Hi, my name's Rich, and today we're going to talk about the Phantom Rogue Subclass in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. So, let's get started. Let's start off by getting some background information about the Phantom subclass. Many rogues walk a fine line between life and death, risking their own lives and taking the lives of others. While adventuring on that line, some rogues discover a mystical connection to death itself. These rogues take knowledge from the dead and become immersed in negative energy, eventually becoming like ghosts. Thieves guilds value them as highly effective information gatherers and spies. Many Shadar-kai of the Shadowfell are masters of these macabre techniques, and some are willing to teach the path. In places like Thay in the Forgotten Realms and Karnarth in Eberron, where many necromancers practice their craft, a phantom can become a wizard's confidant and right hand. In temples of gods of death, the phantom might work as an agent to track down those who try and cheat death and recover knowledge that might otherwise be lost to the grave. How did you discover this grim power? Did you sleep in a graveyard and awaken your new abilities? Or did you cultivate them in temples or thieves guilds dedicated to the deities of death? Much like other rogue subclasses, apart from dexterity, you don't need to focus too much on any specific ability score. The Phantom's main gimmick is being able to call on the dead to try and help and aid them with their proficiencies, and being able to collect the souls of the departed and using them for various abilities. Aside from that, it's just general rogue business as always, trying to stay hidden and get your sneak attack in to go for the single hit high damage on vulnerable targets. As with other rogues, I would recommend the Halfling or Elf race from the Player's Handbook. They both have natural dexterity bonuses, and the Halfling's Lucky ability helps you re-roll those failed sneak attack. Other good options may be a Goblin from Volo's Guide to Monsters, or you can try Tabaxi as well. They both get extra dexterity, and the Tabaxi's ability to climb and have natural dark vision really helps out when you're trying to be a stealthy rogue. And if you want to go really far off the beaten path, then try out a Grung. These poisonous frog-like creatures get natural dexterity, poison immunity, and are able to deal poison damage naturally. While that may be one of the damage types that creatures have the most resistance to, it's still handy to have. Also, their standing leap could be helpful when trying to navigate across rooftops. If this is your first time watching the videos, then thanks for stopping by. Don't be afraid to subscribe if you're interested in these videos. I'm working on designing a full back catalogue of all the different subclasses, starting out with the Tasha's Cauldron of everything and then working my way from there. Now, let's move on to the Phantom's abilities. At level 3, you get Whispers of the Dead. Echoes of those around who have died cling to you. Whenever you finish a short or a long rest, you can choose one skill or tool proficiency that you lack and gain it, as a ghostly presence shares its knowledge with you. You lose this proficiency when you use this feature to choose a different proficiency that you lack. Also at level 3, you get Wails from the Grave. As you nudge someone closer to the grave, you can channel your power of death to harm someone else as well. Immediately after you deal sneak attack damage to a creature on your turn, you can target a second creature that you can see within 30 feet of your first creature. Roll half the number of sneak attack dice for your level, rounded up, and the second creature takes necrotic damage equal to the roll's total, as Wails of the Dead sound around them for a moment. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you get it back in a long rest. If you're fighting a single target creature, the Wails from the Grave is not very helpful. It's okay at lower levels if you're fighting lots of goblins or gnolls, for example. But Whispers of the Dead is very flexible and is able to help the rogue become a really good skill monkey. At level 9, you get the subclass defining ability, Tokens of the Departed. When a life ends in your presence, you're able to snatch a token from the departing soul, a sliver of its life essence that takes physical form. As a reaction, when a creature you see dies within 30 feet of you, you can open your free hand and cause a tiny trinket to appear, a soul trinket. The Dungeon Master determines the trinket's form, or has you roll on the trinket table in the player's handbook to generate it. You can have a maximum number of soul trinkets equal to your proficiency bonus, and you can't create one while you're at maximum. And don't forget, the proficiency bonus is tied to every 4 levels. You can use the soul trinkets in the following ways. When a soul trinket is on your person, you can have advantage on death saving throws and con saves, for your vitality is enhanced by the life essence within the object. When you deal sneak attack damage on your turn, you can destroy one of your soul trinkets that's on your person, and then immediately use Whales from the Grave without expanding a use of the feature. As an action, you can destroy one of your soul trinkets, no matter where it's located. When you do so, you can ask the spirit associated with the trinket one question. The spirit appears to you and answers in a language it knew in its life. It's under no obligation to be truthful, and it answers as concisely as possible, eager to be free. The spirit knows only what it knew in life, as determined by the Dungeon Master. Now, using the tokens of the departed to speak to the dead is a fantastic roleplay tool, and helps in the social aspect. This is something that is often undervalued when people are trying to squeeze out as much damage as possible out of a build, but the social and roleplay aspect is a very big part of the 3 pillars: exploration, roleplay, and combat. And of course, gaining additional uses of Whales from the Grave is helpful when you're fighting multiple enemies. At level 13, the Phantom gains the Ghost Walk ability. You can phase partially into the realm of the dead, becoming like a ghost. As a bonus action, you assume a spectral form. While in this form, you have a flying speed of up to 10 feet, you can hover, and attack rolls have disadvantage against you. You can also move through creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain, but you take 1d10 force damage if you end your turn inside a creature or an object. You stay in this form for 10 minutes, or until you end it as a bonus action. To use this feature again, you must finish a long rest or destroy one of your soul trinkets as part of a bonus action. Now, Ghost Walk can be used in covert operations to sneak into places and gain information, listen into private conversations, or it can be used to defensively tank up a little bit when you're in combat. When designing the maps, I'm sure the DM will take into consideration your ability and put lots of thin, narrow walls and pathways for you to navigate. And finally, at level 17, the Phantom gets Death's Friend. Your association with death has become so close that you gain the following benefits. When you use your Whales from the Grave, you can deal necrotic damage to both the first and second creature. Also, at the end of a long rest, a soul trinket appears in your hand if you don't have any, as the spirits of the dead are now drawn to you. At level 17, changing the damage type to necrotic and giving you a free soul trinket is a token gesture. I think that, like a lot of the other rogue subclasses, it has minimal interaction and you'll be relying on your core rogue abilities to play out the character. Overall, the Phantom is an interesting rogue subclass, which has a mix of different abilities. In this suite of abilities, you have the level 13 ability to beef yourself up. You get the soul trinkets, which can be used in a variety of different ways, giving a bit of flexibility to the rogue. And being able to deal damage to a second creature is nice, but it's not a very powerful ability. I think thematically it has a fantastic set of abilities that suit the character you're trying to portray, almost close to a Death Domain cleric or a necromancer. If your campaign at any time has an undead theme to it, then this works quite well. I think I'll have to give this class a light A, a lower A. It's not quite in the upper echelons of the A+ section. I would say the Arcane Trickster has more flexibility with its spells, the Assassin focuses on extra damage but doesn't have much else. The Inquisitive and Mastermind are more roleplay orientated subclasses. The Phantom is a mixture, it doesn't focus on one specific type of play, but if you're trying to be a skill monkey and help pass ability checks, then It's a good class to take. Oh, thanks for watching the video. If you're interested in continuing the discussion, don't be afraid to leave a comment down below. Pressing that like button is always free, and if you're interested in watching any of the other videos, you can check out the playlist. I have a Patreon set up if you want to help support me monetarily. There's exclusive behind the scenes features, random encounter tables, there'll be lots of discussion, DM talk, and some memes thrown in there to keep it light-hearted. Well, thanks for watching. I'll speak to you later. Goodbye.